Hi, I've got my 2012 Mercedes S550 up in the air, the all-wheel drive version, and I'm going to go ahead and replace the four lower control arms. Trying to get rid of a little clunky noise I got, and I'm terrible at diagnosing bad ball joints. Seems like it'd be pretty simple, but I got a problem with it. So anyway, the car's got 120,000 miles on it. So I'm going to just go ahead and replace all four control arms. They look kind of like this. And this is the one, this is the rear one that attaches to the strut. You can see them located right here. There's one up here, and the back one is right here. So the first step is to take off a couple of these, I don't know what you want to call them, dust panels. The one underneath the engine, and then this one here between the engine and the front bumper. And we'll drop those two panels. That's just a bunch of screws. So the first attachment I'm going to go after is the strut attachment, because I think that's kind of holding the whole thing up and holding stuff in tension a little bit. So they cleverly designed this so it's just in line with the tie rod. So you can either try and take the tie rod off and get it out of the way, or I'm going to try a swivel socket and a little extension, see if I can get loose with that. And we got it off. This is a taper joint, so it's still stuck in there. I'm going to try pounding on it a little bit. So that was a 21 millimeter socket, and these are 22s. So I'm going to get these loose. Now, these two nuts will get replaced by the nuts that came with the new control arms. This one I don't have a replacement nut, so I got to be a little careful with this. So I'm going to take this nut and put it on here. And there's a couple of different ways we could try and get this out. We could try pounding on it with a hammer on the side. I'm going to try and tap it out from this side to see what happens. So I'm going to use this nut basically to kind of protect it, protect the threads. Anything, but let's see if we can get this thing popped out. And that one's popped out, and it's pushing down pretty hard. You know, it's not pushing down that hard. So that's loose. Oh, okay, we got these two nuts loose. I think that one's spinning. Yeah. So there is a little a hole in here that you can stick an Allen wrench, or I believe a Torx bit to hold the stud still while you're unscrewing it. Well, we'll leave that for just a minute and go after the other fasteners. And this nut here is a 21. And I don't have any Torx for the head of the bolt, so I'm going to use just a 12-point wrench that's kind of loose. This is a 17 millimeter. Clearly it seems like it wants a 16. but I don't have to hold it too tight because I already broke the nut loose. So this one here looks like it's the same size. We're not going to get in there, so I need a wrench somewhere around the 21. And I do have a 21. Make sure we get it on there all the way. It's a very snug fit on this side. There's no way a socket fits in there. So the bolt's starting to turn. It's getting a little tight. The end of the bolt must have been rusty. So I'm going to try and hurry this up a little bit by putting a 16mm 6-point socket on there. And we got that one loose. Now, so I've got these loose. Whoop, there goes the nut. I don't feel a washer. There's a washer on this side. I'm going to get this taper out of here. Wow. Holy camole. There it is. Now I beat it all up. I'm going to have to upsize the socket to a 24. It did come off. That was fortunate. Yeah, I pretty much mangled that up. And that bushing is pretty shredded. I don't know if you can see that, but it's busted up. The ball joint is pretty stiff. So that ball joint looks like it was okay. So there's a big tab up there, and you got to make sure the controller arm's up that far, because otherwise you can't get it up. Whew. All right, this one. All right, this one will go back to the 22mm. See if I can get this thing spun off of here. There we go. And I was afraid of that. That one may not come out without pulling the axle. But we'll see. So here's a close-up look at the problem. This won't come out because it can't clear the axle. So to get this control arm off, I've got to get the axle out. So to get the axle out of the knuckle, first we're going to try and get this cap off. which would have been, oh, there it goes. That wasn't too bad. And that's got a giant Torx bolt on it. So I'm going to use a 19 millimeter 6-point socket. Oh, they come loose. I don't know how tight that axle is in there. Give it a couple taps. Oh, it's pretty loose. So the axle's out. Now the control arm comes out. That control arm's got some play in the ball joint. It's not very stiff. The bushing looked okay. No cracks or separation. So I'm going to drop the new control arm in. Make sure you put that in on top of the tie rod steering arm. And then what I'm going to do real quick is put the nut on this control arm on the ball joint end. Hopefully that'll keep it out of the way of the axle while I try to get that back in. There we go. I'll put the bolt on there loosely. Don't let me forget to tighten it up. All right, back to the control arms. Get this one propped up in there. Let's get the control arm up there. So this bolt doesn't want to quite go through. It's very clear. It's very close. So I'm going to try and screw past it, and it works. Oh, I got to put, see, I have the washer and a nut. Whoa. There we go. And now we're going to tighten up basically the 3 ball joints, this one, and this one. That one's all the way down. I think I need, oh, there we go. Got that one tight. And now I'm going to go tighten up the axle, put that cap on, and before you tighten up these bolts, you want to actually let the car down and let the car wait. Push the control arms up into position so that they're in the ride height position, and that's when you want to tighten these bolts up. So my plan is I took a jack stand and I jacked this thing up until it just started to lift off the one pad on the hoist, which I suppose is semi-dangerous, but that gets this thing much closer to ride height. And then I'm going to go ahead and tighten up these 2 cross bolts. Tight. The last section of video that I'm going to show you right after this is me doing the other side, and I'm going to do it in fast motion, so it'll wrap up really quick. I did have a little problem with one of the studs got stuck. One of the tapers was spinning, so I had to get a Torx bit out to hold the stud while I got the nut off. And other than that, just did a little bit of beating, got it all off, got it all on. And the timestamp on that video was, and it's not a contest, and I probably didn't do it right because I didn't specify any Torx or anything, but it took me 21 minutes. So watch the fast forward video if you want, otherwise have fun. Thanks for watching. All right, so I've got all my tools pre-positioned to do the other side, and we'll see how long that's going to take me to do the other side. And I'll start out by popping the dust cover off the axle nut or bolt, and we'll get going. Oh, I'm sick and I'm exhausted, but it's all done except for putting on the wheels and tires and the two covers on the bottom, and I'm gonna leave those off until I get the alignment checked. Oh, thanks for watching.